budget information session. We unfortunately do not have a quorum of our school board members today, so this will be a district-led meeting, and I will pass it over to Superintendent Perry.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Apologize, I'm juggling another meeting in the background in person, and I forgot my earbuds. So I'm going to be here for about the first 20 minutes, but Bob Silva, our Chief Operations Officer, is going to be leading us today. And so I'll hang on for a little bit, and then I'm going to toggle over to my next meeting. Thanks for being here. These pre-budget sessions are super helpful. And at some point, as we start messaging some district information about kind of forecasting for our budget, I'll loop this group into that messaging as well. All right, Bob, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, everyone. Board members and budget committee members. This is our third of 4 lunch meeting sessions that we're reviewing in preparation for our budget committee meeting that kicks off on May 2nd. During this session, we will be discussing kind of some of the other funds outside of the general fund and outside of grants. So let me get my, whoever owns the Zoom, I need some screen sharing rights, please. There we go. Thank you. And if I could get a verbal commitment that the screen share is functional. Okay, thank you. All right, so like I said, we're going to talk about funds that are outside of the general fund and kind of the transfer process of how the revenues get into the funds themselves. A lot of what we're going to talk about is our assets replacement fund, where a lot of our capital project funds, where a lot of our infrastructure actually comes from. So just wanted to kind of provide an update to you on the transportation facility. Last year, these were architectural renderings. This year, we replaced them with actual live photos. So a quick update on the facility. It is partially operational. Unfortunately, supply chain issues are impacting our ability to fully operationalize the facility. Apparently, if you need big electrical transformers, they're really hard to get right now. So we keep checking in every 2 weeks, and hopefully sometime before the start of next school year, we'll have this building operational. Super excited to see this come to fruition. So the transportation facility and some additional bus purchases were funded by full faith and credit debt approved by the board back in April 2020. Like I just said, most of the facility construction is done, but we are waiting on a few parts to actually finish it up and testing and take full occupancy and use of all the spaces. In addition to the facility, it also allowed for the replacement of about 195 buses, which we'll do over a period of years. The transportation facility, bus purchases, that's all done through transportation grants, which reimburses about 70% of those expenses over a depreciation model over the next, I don't know the exact number of years, but it takes a while to fully depreciate those assets. All right, so Christy reminds me to constantly bring everybody back to the budget book. So that's what we're going to do. So if you all have your budget book available, we're going to start at page 127 and talk about our asset replacement fund. And Sarah, if you want to queue up, I'm going to call you in for a second. So funds in the 200 range are called special revenue funds. And one of the reasons for that designation is that they have either restrictions, they're committed or assigned. And I'm going to ask Sarah, if she's listening and available, to jump on and describe the difference between a restricted fund, a committed fund, and an assigned fund.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a little bit of a mix of restricted funds are like the word we would use for budgeting. When those funds come in, they're restricted to the purpose they were given to us. And then were your other words committed and assigned?
Yes.
So those are actually accounting and ACFR terms. The board can determine commitments and assignments for funds, such as the transportation facility and the bus money. When we borrowed that money specifically for that, it was restricted, but also in our reporting, it showed as having these determinations. So committed and assigned are further designations.
Okay, thank you.
A lot of detail.
Yeah. And the reason I wanted to call those out as the intro to each one of the different sections of funds that we're going to cover today, it describes them as restricted, committed, or assigned. So I wanted to make sure you had that definition. Okay, so asset replacement fund. On page 127, if you're following along in your budget book, this is where we kind of use it essentially as a savings account to hold funds for replacement of assets. And those assets can be curriculum, furniture, playground structures, musical instruments, technology, buses, vehicles. So just, large assets that we try to sustain over a multi-year period. Those are generally funded to the extent possible through our asset replacement. And the asset replacement is funded through transfers from the general fund. And in the case of bus depreciation, through the transportation reimbursement process. If you remember last year, we introduced a equity-based asset replacement fund for the purpose of some of the items that we haven't historically had a system in place to manage the long-term replacement of those. And that had to do with classroom furniture, playground structures, and musical instruments is kind of what the focus of that fund was. And you can see that on page 127 in the resources section. You'll see the 5,200. Those are the interfund transfers. That means we're transferring, in these cases, from the general fund allocation into the asset replacement fund, the amounts that were set aside. So if you remember last year, we authorized $10 million transfer for curriculum. We have the bus depreciation and vehicle replacement, equipment and furniture. So that's the equity-based asset replacement, as well as technology. You'll see $2 million that we transferred there for technology. And again, this is essentially our general fund has to be budgeted each year, but when we do an interfund transfer into our asset replacement, those funds stick around and we're able to plan multi-year sustainability for some of the assets within the school district. All right, we're going to jump around here and move to Fund 418. So all of our Fund 400s are basically capital projects funds, and we're going to discuss 3 of them. So page 176 in your budget book. And if we scroll up to page 175 and look at the 3 funds that are outlined there, the Special Capital Projects Fund, the Preventative and Deferred Maintenance Fund, and the 2018 Bond Capital Projects Fund, you can see there the committed and assigned and restricted tags that are associated with those funds. So again, that goes back to why I really wanted to explain what those tags were so that you understood as you reviewed the budget. So Fund 418, which is on page 176, is pretty much spent on large facilities projects. Now that's a vague term that we use, but generally it's as the school district needs change throughout the year, as new requirements come on us, as new ideas that we want to implement come that require some form of facilities improvement with no other funding source attached to it. A lot of times where we'll pull those from is Fund 418. I'll give you a recent example of this is OSA mandated shot clocks for basketball in our gyms, and no funding was provided along with that requirement. So more than likely, Fund 418 will be used to make those facility improvements to stay aligned with the OSA requirements. So that's an example of how Fund 418 can be used. Full day kindergarten is another example of that, and all the facility modifications and furniture requirements that we had to implement full day kindergarten. A lot of the funding for the Special Capital Projects Fund comes from other grant reimbursements that we receive throughout the year. That can be Energy Efficiency Fund through Senate Bill 1149. And we also submit a lot of facilities grant reimbursements through the state of Oregon, especially now that we're still in a bond process. There's a lot of opportunities to receive some reimbursements for the improvements that we're making through the state of Oregon. And those funds get put back into Fund 418. Moving to page 178 is our Preventative and Deferred Maintenance Fund. This fund is funded directly as a transfer from the general fund. Current process based on available funding is to increase it by about $500,000 every year. So if you look in the budget book, you'll see the resources. Trying to see if it's clear enough in the way that we have to budget for the budget book. And it is, so you can see the interfund transfers. Get to, yeah, so you can see we had an oddity in 21 where we actually went up 500,000, but then in 22 we stepped back down to the, sorry, I said 500, I meant 250,000. So you can see the slow increase of that, because as our buildings age and inflation and everything else, we need to continue investing in that fund to sustain our buildings. A lot of what's tackled in Preventative and Deferred Maintenance Fund is just what it says. Some of the maintenance and repairs on our buildings that are not or cannot wait for a alternative funding source, such as a capital bond program. So it also replaces our turf fields at our high schools. So each of our high school football fields are on a 10 to 12 year cycle that are funded out of Fund 419, which is the Preventative and Deferred Maintenance Fund. Moving to page 180 is Fund 421, and this is pretty much our 2018 General Obligation Bond Fund. And again, this is a restricted fund. It can only be spent on those projects that were stated in the ballot measure back in May of 2018. So we've been renovating and building classrooms and common areas, overhauling some HVAC, a lot of security upgrades, expansion of CTE programs. So Quick bond update in general, we're in our 5th year. We have been slowed down a little bit in our bond program as well, and we've had to delay some of the projects into future years just because of supply chain issues, contractor availability, and their ability to attain the labor that they need to complete the project. So, and then just cost escalation in general over the last 2 years been pretty significant. But I'm pleased to be able to report that we will complete all of the promises made in the original ballot measure within hopefully the next couple of years. All of our major projects should wrap up, well, starting this year and then wrapping up next year. And then there's just going to be little tidbits here and there based on some of the additional funding that was received through the bond premiums. Okay, so moving from the special revenue and capital project funds, we move into our debt service funds. So starting on page 171. Is, sorry, page 168. So on page 168, you can see Fund 307, which is the way that we fund our debt service that are charged against our wages, and that's currently sitting at 9.5%. And this fund only covers the PERS principal and interest payments, and then of course the rate changes with PERS. At our next lunch meeting, we will go a little bit deeper into PERS and the UIL and the rate changes and how all of that is calculated. So if you have questions on that, you may want to just hold the questions around questions about PERS until after next week, where we do a much deeper dive into the PERS fund. And then finally, our last big fund in the 300 range is our general obligation debt service. So we just talked about our general obligation bond and everything that it's doing to improve our schools. This is where we make the payments against all of those funds that we receive through the general obligation bonds. And of course, this can only be used to pay the principal and interest for that general obligation debt. So before we roll into some questions, I know we have a small contingent of people on here today. I just want to remind you, our next meeting will be next Wednesday, April 26th, where again, we'll go into some of the how school budgets are allocated. We'll dive deeper into the PERS funding and how that's calculated, as well as some of the budget committee meeting protocols and procedures in preparation for our first budget committee meeting on May 2nd. And with that, I will stop sharing my screen and open the floor to any questions that you may have.
Laura Million has a question. Go ahead, Laura.
Sorry about that. When I push the button to raise my hand, my mute disappears. So I just had a two-part question. Actually, I have a lot of questions, but I'll start with this one because I know we have limited time. How does the budget committee get notified of staffing cuts that may be on the horizon? And what steps is the district taking to prioritize and ensure students are not significantly impacted by these cuts? Are they prioritizing retention of teachers, IAs, behavioral specialists, and such? Thank you.
And Laura, could I ask for a big favor and have you type that into the chat so that we can record it properly?
Yeah, I'll work on getting that to come up. Yes, I sure can.
That's a big question, but
yeah,
very good question. And so very big question, very big answer. So what I'm going to ask is that we bring that back to you so that we can bring you a fully informed answer next week.
Okay. Okay, I'll get this typed in then. Do you want me to ask my next question then, or would you like to see if somebody else? Okay. Do we have time in these brown bag lunches to have a presentation on AVID and an expansion and a talk about the expansion of AVID?
I'm trying to see if Ethan can help me out here. I think he's still here. So we talked about that, and it's escaping me right now on what we decided. I think we were going to bring it back. Ethan, do you remember the details?
We will. I have a presentation that I'm prepared to discuss with AVID about AVID, so we can give a summary of the program, so provide some data on the outcomes that we've had for the program, and also provide numbers from how much the program cost. We did a report recently most recently was in 2019, and we've updated it since then.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you guys doing that.
No problem.
Let's see, do I have time for more questions, or am I taking up too much time?
We're here for you guys.
Okay. Okay. Let's see here. When we, I guess, either during the around lunch conversations, or maybe during the budget committee meeting, do we get a recap on the, I don't know if they're called committed funds from 2022, 2023, like the curriculum and the playground equipment? Do we get like a recap on where those stand and what was done during the last year, to kind of just get a feel for what happened and maybe what needs to still happen?
As a standard process, no, but as a budget committee member, you can certainly ask that question of us, and we will provide that information.
Okay, and that just happens during the budget committee meeting, the standard one in May, is that correct?
Or now is fine. We could have it prepared by next week, probably.
Okay, that would be fantastic. Thank you. And I'm trying to type my other one in. Okay, I have one last question. So then I would ask I would ask the district to identify then 3 areas in the budget that can be reduced to reduce class sizes and hire more teaching staff.
So Laura, let me make sure I capture that. I'm just going to put it in the chat. So
Yeah.
Highlight 3 areas in the budget that reduce class sizes, and what else?
Highlight 3 areas in the budget that can be cut and the funds shifted to reduce class sizes and hire more teachers. It could be a program, it could be, whatever it might be, but identify 3 areas that you feel could actually we could shift the funds from that particular bucket of money and shift it over to address reducing class sizes and hiring more educated teachers to teach the students.
Thank you, Laura. I captured that in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Robert or Bob?
Yeah. I have 2 questions on the bond. As you mentioned that would be delayed, some of the projects, because of materials not being available. That funds that's not being used at that time, is there a possibility that we could collect interest on that fund so that it could be substantially bigger when we had to go back into those funds? Because it's probably not only those materials not available, but they will also be at a higher cost once they do become available. So is that something that we could use? We could be collecting interest on that fund so that we could cover that cost when it does come due?
Here's what I think I know, and Sarah can correct me if I'm wrong. She checks in regularly with the bond program to identify what their expected needs are for the year, so that if the money isn't needed right away, that she can invest it in that interim.
Good, good.
And I see her shaking her head. So
Yeah. And then my second question was that, is there any collaboration with that bond money? And again, as you had mentioned about the replacement costs on some of the, such as the fields or other areas of schools that need updating, is that in conflict? Is it restricted?
in general, it's restricted to what was originally proposed in the bond measure. As we enter a new cycle of long-range facilities planning, any of those items can be identified either by the district or by the community through that process and taken back out to voters if that's the ultimate decision of the board at that time. But right now, those items were not specifically included in the bond, so the bond cannot be used to tackle any of those needs.
Okay. And then my other question would be kind of related to what Laura was referring to as far as programs go on. Well, this is a different program. It's the Envoy program for teacher support or mentors. And I understand that that program may be cut back or cut out. And I was wondering if, again, who determines, again, if that's already been determined about how those funds could be, maybe funds could be transferred in to maintain that program, as determined what are the priorities for those programs.
Okay, so Ethan, can you try to capture that?
Yep. So Bob, what I'm hearing is how do we make decisions around priorities when programming is cut? On
Yes.
what example?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then my question. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I could just give you a high level response to that, Director Salazar. And what we do is we use our integrated application, our integrated guidance application. And we talked about that. Dr. West spoke, who's our Director of Strategic Initiatives, gave a presentation on that earlier. And that's the initiative through the state, which gives direction on how we look at several discrete grant sources like SIA, high school success, early childhood education, early intervention systems, et cetera. And then how do we develop a strategic plan that focuses on well-rounded learning, equitable outcomes, community engagement, et cetera. And from that, we developed a strategic plan that has very specific outcomes. And in those outcomes might be third grade on track reading. It might be investing in our supporting our dual language and ELD students programs. And it might focus on ninth grade on track or certain other academic outcomes. And then that's what we use as a moral document, if you will, to make tough decisions on our funding. Now we have some areas that are priority funding, and then some areas that are kind of on the list of things that we would like to fund as well.
Okay, one last question. Thank you.
No
When I was, and this is again 20 years ago, when I was a principal at Myers, we had a project for playground equipment to be completed, and we were about $8,000 short. And the safety committee came through, and again, the director at that time said, you know, they had to inspect it to see that it was, you know, going to be a safe playground facility. But the apple on that was that when he approved it, he gave us $8,000. And I'm just wondering who makes those decisions when we're looking at those items that are being replaced, or how that comes about. Is it a one person still, or is it a committee that reviews those, or
No, so yeah,
about?
so for our integrated, sorry to interrupt, will not let you finish. For our integrated application, what we did is part of the requirement is to go out into the community and do engagement sessions. And so between the months of August and December, we went out into the community often and did engagement sessions with families. And then we also talk with staff about priorities. And then we look at data, and we look at our strategic plans from years past. And then we work really closely as a leadership team. And when I say leadership team, I mean many members of our cabinet, and we talk to principals and people that are in the buildings to develop a plan. And then from there, we rely on our analysts to give us ballpark estimates of how much things will cost. And,
Thank you.
And Bob, is there anything you want to add to that?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And back to Laura.
Back to Laura.
Hi, guys. Thank you. That brought up a question I had, I guess, when talking about the prioritizing. And I recall watching a video presentation by the SIA group.
Right.
And at the end, I thought they did a really good job. And at the end, they had mentioned this is your time, this is your chance to actually truly make a change. And one of the things that was a high priority was reducing class sizes, which is a very, something very strong that I feel very strongly about. Is that a part of the current strategic plan that you guys have in place? Have you actually taken that SIA presentation into account in the planning for this particular year?
Yeah, we have. So part of the plan, and this is where it gets complicated, but part of the plan, for instance, is for our integrated application. The SIA is part of that. And so a lot of the strategies that you see throughout our strategic planning are informed by our SIA plan. And then that SIA plan was developed by all the SIA work that we did when we launched in 2018, but from the work that we continue to do through that SIA steering committee, which has community members. So yes, and one thing that you will find with our budget moving forward is that we're continuing to look at how we can creatively and strategically shift resources to support schools, to put them in schools. And that could look like trying to put more teachers in schools or more supports in schools. And some of those resources are shifting from a more centralized model to being more teachers in classrooms. When I say centralized models, we have program associates and instructional mentors, for instance, who sometimes operate out of a district level office and push into schools. And we've shifted some of those resources into schools. So that's just a small example. The challenge, though, is that with some of our funding, like ESSER, that we rely on to fill the gaps for not being fully funded throughout the state, with some of that sunsetting, we are going to have less funding available. And we are trying to mitigate the impact of that as much as possible in the next year or so.
Okay. Will you guys have, thank you very much. That was a very good explanation. Will you guys have, during the budget committee meeting, the numbers of what you anticipate class sizes being? And I know that you can't really forecast, you won't know until enrollment hits in like September what that real true impact is, but can you forecast what you anticipate with the continued decline in enrollment anticipated, and what you think that would look like, especially in our primary schools, the class sizes? Can we actually see those start to be reduced?
Yeah, we have ways to do projections. So let me see what that looks like and get back to you on that.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Any other questions? I'm going to type that last question in the chat, Laura, so I don't forget.
Thank you. That's what I was just writing down. So again, one more luncheon next week on April 26th, and then budget committee following that on May 2nd, where the superintendent will present her budget message, and both the budget committee, the board, and the public will receive the budget book. So with that, if there's no further questions, and since this is just a district meeting, I can adjourn the meeting. And thank you very much for showing up and participating and being interested in our budgeting process.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For more videos and information, go to capitalcommunitymedia.org and follow us on social media.